ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तन्न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः। देवाय तस्मै नमः। So today we are going to resume we've completed the 14th chapter. So we have to do the summary of the 14th chapter, which is what I had promised. So we will do that. So 14th chapter, and as you may recall, it is part of the third Shatkam, the last third of the main topics of the Bhagavad Gita. So Dvampadartha, Dvampada Vicharaha was the first six. Then Tatpada Vicharaha, namely Ishvara Vicharaha, was the second group of six chapters from 7 to 12. And then the third group of six chapters, beginning with 13th chapter, was what we said was the Asipada Vicharaha, namely Jiveshwara Aikyam. And so we started. So 13, 14, and 15 are going to be predominant within this group of six chapters, which talks about this equality between Jiva and Ishvara. And then following that, 16, 17 and all, there is some more talk about gunas, virtues that can help us. Qualities means not the triguna qualities, but the virtues that can help us towards this jnana yoga. So that's how the flow is going to be. So we'll chant the first four chapters. You can chant along with me. Together, let's chant. श्रीभगवानुवाच परं भूयः प्रवक्ष्यामि ज्ञानानां ज्ञानमुत्तमम् यज्ञात्वा मुनयः सर्वे परां सिद्धिमितो गताः. We'll chant the first four. Idam jnanamupaśritya मम साधर्म्यमागताः सर्गेऽपि नोपजायन्ते प्रलये न व्यथन्ति च मम योनिर्महद्ब्रह्म तस्मिन् गर्भं दधाम्यहम् सम्भवः सर्वभूतानां ततो भवति भारत सर्वयोनिषु कौन्तेय मूर्तयः सम्भवन्ति याः तासां ब्रह्म महद्योनिः अहं बीजः प्रदः पिता. So in these first four slokas, Bhagavan Sri Krishna is introducing this chapter. He's saying, Jnananam Jnanamuttamam Pravakshyami. I'm going to tell you that knowledge which is the greatest of all fields of knowledge. Okay. So which means immediately you have to go to Kathopanishad and you have to recall Yamadharma Raja's words. Dve vidye veditavye parachaiva paracha. So dve vidye. There he says there are two knowledges that we have to know. One is called, one includes everything that we have studied so far, all the sciences, all the medicinal knowledge, different types of medicine, everything, including the stock market analysis. There is such a thing called that. Yeah, everything is governed by some science. And so all that, including picnicking and this and that, and ecology, atmosphere, all that stuff, including Devata. There are many lokas, all the knowledge of all the lokas. Everything comes under what? Comes under Aparavidya. And then there is something called Paravidya. Paravidya. That which helps me know my nature, my true nature is called Paravidya. Okay? Which is same as knowing the nature of Ishvara, which is same as knowing the nature of this Jagat. Okay, all the three are identical. So that Paravidya, okay, is Jnananam Jnanamuttamam. Okay, and which we also just referred to as Raja Vidya in the ninth chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, right? And in the seventh chapter also, he said something similar. 7:2, if you look up, Jnanam teham savijnanam idam vakshyami asheshatah yajnatva neha bhuyonyat jnatavyam avashishyate. Hey, after knowing this, nothing left. Nothing will be left for you to know. Means for your own fulfillment, nothing else will be left for. That's what was said by Sri Krishna in the seventh chapter. All right. So that's very important because that's what brings us into. Nobody tells you this. Some apatata jnanam is there. Means some general idea, Bhagavad Gita, Upanishad, or something they talk about, like that idea is there as we grow up. Then finally we begin to understand what is what. And that clarity is important. Paravidya is supposed to liberate me. Aparavidya, what is it? Will it liberate me? Well, Aparavidya is important. Without Aparavidya, food won't come to the stomach. Okay, Aparavidya only gives me food. And everything that we engage in, the entire Vyavahara from morning to evening is all Aparavidya, which is also important. But we know karmana, karma is anityam, karma phalam is anityam. Aparavidya is all about do something, get something, do something, get something. That is why it is possible to be disenchanted after so many decades of living a good life also. Okay. And so, Aparavidya, the more you study something, the more I come to know that there is so much to know. And therefore, it will make me feel smaller and smaller and smaller. My resume may be getting bigger and bigger and bigger. 5 years ago, my resume was not this good. You can say that. Good. That's good. But that is the nature of Aparavidya. Somebody else will come. You look at somebody, wow, this guy knows so much. I thought I was the expert in this. Okay, over. Finished. Overnight, all my ego just went off. And so, nothing wrong. Paravidya is not meant to make me, meant to bring down my ego, not supposed increase my ego. Anyway, so this is the liberating jnanam, Jivan Mukti jnanam, which he says in the 14th, second sloka also. मम साधर्म्यम् आगताः सर्गेऽपि नोपजायन्ते प्रलये न व्यथन्ति च. So, after this knowledge, There is no more birth. Sarge api na upajayante. And there is no, the person is not afraid of death because there is no death possible for Atma. There can be fear of the body. Some pain will be there, this and that. All that, those things will be going on. But fundamentally, I'm fulfilled. I'm complete. I'm Purnaha. The reason I came here has been accomplished. Right? And so, then briefly, Bhagavan Sri Krishna mentions Srishti. The third and fourth shlokas he mentions, talks about Srishti, the creation. To give us an idea that the world is made up of Chetanam and Achetanam. Achetanam we are all very familiar with, and the whole world is all Achetanam. It's all it's all material, the material world, you know. Long ago, there was a lady, Madonna, that was her name. She sang a song called Material World. I remember suddenly it's coming to me. I don't know why I'm getting all these ideas. It's a material world like that, she says. I don't know what she meant by that material world. We have to check. We have to have an interview with Madonna. Asha Seva Kendram invites Madonna to talk about material world. I think that's a great idea. Anyway, it's all material, material, material. And science also talks about is investigating the material, knows more and more about the material. And then there is something that is non-material, not immaterial. Non-material means not of the type of material, and which is called consciousness, which is what makes conscious things in this world, like human beings and animals, living beings. Okay, that consciousness is there. Clarity is not there. How do you say, yeah, are they together? Are they separate? Can consciousness be separate? Material? These kinds of things not clear at all. That is where our Shastra shines because our rishis have spent a lot of time on this. And so we saw all that. And so Chetanam, Achetanam, and in the seventh chapter, Para Prakriti, Apara Prakriti, and then in the 13th chapter, Purusha Prakriti, these are words are all used. And here he says, of course, Maya and Brahma, but he uses words. Mama Yonir, what does he say? Brahma, Mahat Brahma. There he uses the word Brahma to refer to Maya. So all those games that Krishna is playing, we have to kind of figure out, we are figuring out. And so doesn't matter what words are used, but that Chetana Tattvam, Achetana Tattvam, that mix is what makes this world tick. This body's also same mix. Jagat also same mix. Like that he talks about. Why should he talk like this? Well, if I have to know myself, then I have to initially start with where I came from. The basic observable gunas I have to know because I am a human being that is conscious of the world. And so all I have to know the world. I have to know the nature of the world. That is what will help me in my life. Anything that has to be useful to me, I have to understand. Electricity, for electricity to be useful, I must understand electricity. Otherwise, I can be victimized by electricity, fire, anything, any object, cell phone. I have to know what it can do, what damage it can do. Also, it can know. I should know so that I can use that device properly. Therefore, I can use my body and I can use all my relationships and everything properly only if I know the working nature of all these things, which is what he's going to talk in this chapter. It's called Gunatraya Vibhag. Very interesting way of analysis. And this Trigunatmika is such an important thing. It pervades all sciences also. Our Indian sciences like Ayurveda and so forth. This Vata, Pitta, Kapha they talk about. Kapha. Okay. Not Kapha. Kapha. So Kappa is something else. It's a Greek letter, I think. Kappa, they say. Anyway, but this Trigunatmika model is very, very well entrenched in our understanding of life itself. And so that's how the journey is here. And in slokas 5 to 18, um, Bhagavan Sri Krishna explains, introduces the three gunas and analyzes the three gunas. So what we're going to do is, so maybe one of you can unmute yourself. We can chant these slokas. Whoever is next.
Me, Satish.
Okay. 5 onwards. Sattvam rajastama iti
Sattvam rajastama iti
guna prakriti sambhavaah
gunaः प्रकृतिसम्भवाः
nibadhanti mahabaho
निबध्नन्ति महाबाहो
dehe dehinamavyayam
देहे देहिनमव्ययम्
तत्र सत्त्वं निर्मलत्वात्
तत्र सत्त्वं निर्मलत्वात्
प्रकाशकमनामयम्
प्रकाशकमनामयम्
सुखसङ्गेन बध्नाति
सुखसङ्घेन बध्नाति
ज्ञानसङ्गेन चानघ
ज्ञानसङ्घेन चानघ
रजो रागात्मकं विद्धि
रजो रागात्मकं विद्धि
तृष्णासङ्गसमुद्भवम्
तृष्णासङ्गसमुद्भवम्
तन्निबध्नाति कौन्तेय
तन्निबध्नाति कौन्तेय
कर्मसङ्गेन देहिनम्
कर्मसङ्घेन देहिनम्
तमस्त्वज्ञानजं विद्धि
तमस्त्वज्ञानजं विद्धि
मोहनं सर्वदेहिनां
मोहनं सर्वदेहिनां
प्रमादालस्य निद्राभिः
प्रमादालस्य निद्राभिः
तन्निबध्नाति भारत
तन्निबध्नाति भारत
सत्त्वं सुखे सञ्जयति
सत्त्वं सुखे सञ्जयति
रजः कर्मणि भारत
रजः कर्मणि भारत
ज्ञानमावृत्य तु तमः
ज्ञानमावृत्य तु तमः
प्रमादे सञ्जयत्युत
प्रमादे सञ्जयत्युत
रजस्तमश्चाभिभूय
रजस्तमश्चाभिभूय
सत्त्वं भवति भारत
सत्त्वं भवति भारत
रजः सत्त्वं तमश्चैव
रजः सत्त्वं तमश्चैव
तमः सत्त्वं रजस्तथा
तमः सत्त्वं रजस्तथा
सर्वद्वारेषु देहेऽस्मिन्
सर्वद्वारेषु देहेऽस्मिन्
प्रकाश उपजायते
प्रकाश उपजायते
ज्ञानं यदा तदा विद्यात्
ज्ञानं यदा तदा विद्यात्
विवृद्धं सत्त्वमित्युत
विवृद्धं सत्त्वमित्युत
लोभः प्रवृत्तिरारम्भः
लोभः प्रवृत्तिरारम्भः
कर्मणामशमस्पृहा
कर्मणः मशमस्पृहा
रजस्येतानि जायन्ते
रजस्येतानि जायन्ते
विवृद्धे भरतर्षभ
विवृद्धे भरतर्षभ
अप्रकाशो अप्रवृत्तिश्च
अप्रकाशो प्रवृत्तिश्च
प्रमादो मोह एव च
प्रमादो मोह एव च
तमस्येतानि जायन्ते
तमस्येतानि जायन्ते
विवृद्धे कुरु नन्दन
विवृद्धे कुरु नन्दन
यदा सत्त्वे प्रवृद्धे तु
यदा सत्त्वे प्रवृद्धे तु
प्रलयं याति देहभृत्
प्रलयं याति देहभृत्
तदोत्तमविदां लोकान्
तदोत्तमविदान् लोकान्
अमलान् प्रतिपद्यते
अमलान् प्रतिपद्यते
रजसि प्रलयं गत्वा
रजसि प्रलयं गत्वा
कर्मसङ्गिषु जायते
कर्मसङ्गिषु जायते
तथा प्रलीनस्तमसि
तथा प्रलीनस्तमसि
मूढयोनिषु जायते
मूढयोनिषु जायते
कर्मणः सुकृतस्याहुः
कर्मणः सुकृतस्याहुः
सात्विकं निर्मलं फलम्
सात्विकं निर्मलं फलम्
रजसस्तु फलं दुःखम्
रजसस्तु फलं दुःखम्
ज्ञानं तमसः फलम्
ज्ञानं तमसः फलम्
sorry
अज्ञानम्
Ajnanam, it is Ajnanam.
अज्ञानं तमसः फलम्
अज्ञानं तमसः फलम्
सत्त्वात् सञ्जायते ज्ञानम्
सत्त्वात् सञ्जायते ज्ञानम्
रजसो लोभ एव च
रजसो लोभ एव च
प्रमादमोहौ तमसः
प्रमादमोहौ तमसः
भवतो ज्ञानमेव च
भवतो ज्ञानमेव च
ऊर्ध्वं गच्छन्ति सत्त्वस्थाः
ऊर्ध्वं गच्छन्ति सत्त्वस्ताः
मध्ये तिष्ठन्ति राजसाः
मध्ये तिष्ठन्ति राजसाः
जघन्यगुणवृत्तिस्थाः
जघन्यगुणवृत्तिस्ताः
अधो गच्छन्ति तामसाः
अधो गच्छन्ति तामसाः
So in these shlokas, Bhagavan is introducing the three gunas and analyzing it a little. Now, if you look at the scientific analysis, scientific means the scientific community, the way they analyze the world, it's in search of truth. Truth of what? Truth of how it operates, etc. The purpose of that analysis is not with the human happiness in mind, even though companies claim that we are improving the lives of human beings. And we all agree also to a large extent, yeah, humanity has progressed a lot because of so many scientific advancements, progressed materially, progressed by giving me more and more comfort. And so, how will the human being be more comfortable? But यहाँ पर analysis is very different. And here they say comfort and happiness are need not be the same thing. And in fact, it is not the same thing. And therefore, if I switch my sights from comfort to happiness, then what happens? Then how will you analyze the world? Then this is the type of analysis that becomes important. Because the people, if you ask Sony and if you complain to Sony, I'm not happy with your products, they will say, return the product, we'll be happy to exchange it. No, that's not the happiness I'm talking about. I'm talking about fundamentally, I'm not happy with anything you do. Anything I do also, I'm not happy. I think you're talking to the wrong person. We can give you full refund. Sorry, sir, they will do all that customer service. Will all be there. But then here it's a little different. And uh, so this I must know Jagat, this Deha, this body, this Sharira, and Ishvara also, in order for that fundamental fulfillment to see if I can make inroads into that. Okay. And so Here, as we saw before, Sri Krishna has listed various ways. We have categorized it in various ways. And what was that? First one was, what is the guna? What is the definition of a guna? What do you mean by sattvam, rajas, and tamas? Okay, that was the first definition. Second is, how does that guna bind the person? Bind the person. And third one is, what are the indicators of a particular guna? When we assess ourselves, I want to know, like many psychologists also help in assessing ourselves, emotional assessment. So it's good to do the self-assessment, because then I can know exactly what are the areas where I can help myself. I need some help, etc. And so, how do I understand what is my guna? What is my guna composition? Okay. And then fourth one was what? What is the gati? What is the because our life is a continuum. And so what happens to the human being after death? If I know the guna of a person, can I guess what might happen to the human being? Okay, after death. Okay, that was talked about. Then phalam. What are the consequences of having a particular guna? Predominantly, if I have a particular guna, then what can be the impacts of that in my life? Okay, those things were all mentioned in those different categories. So, first one was lakshanam. Okay, sattvam. Sattvam means that guna which is characterized by, which will manifest as ability to think, ability to analyze, okay, a love for calmness and peace. Those kinds of things are all characteristics of sattva guna. And then rajas. Rajas will make a person active, physically active, physically active. And so that desire to do things is a manifestation of the rajoguna. And tamas. Tamas means what? Neither sattva nor rajoguna attributes. Neither do I want to learn something, nor am I motivated enough to do something to help myself. That is called tamo. Okay, and so that was defined. The next was how that guna binds us, and we there also we saw elaborately sattva guna, the person with sattva guna. Well, let's go from tamas. I think it's better to do that. Tamas. How does tamaguna bind the person? Well, pramada nidra alasyabihi, like that he had said. So this slothfulness, lethargy, and the person becomes lethargic, and so it is bound. The person may not know the person is bound also. Bound because then the life is almost like an animal life. Animal life. And why animal life? Well, we saw that ahara, nidra, bhaya, maitunancha, samanya metat pashubir narana. Between animals and human beings, these things are common. What are common? Ahara, nidra, and bhaya. Common. And that's all this person has. Buddhirhi tesham adhiko visheshaha. Hey, the buddhi is what makes the human being different from the animal, and that buddhi is not being used. Therefore, animal-like lives. Okay. Then rajas. Okay, Rajas person is happy if the person keeps on doing something. Went on a picnic, mountain climbing, this, that, etc. Great. On the way, they had to stop. They had to stop because a storm was coming. So they stopped at an ashram called Asha Vidya Gurukulam. They stopped. And then it's all nice, beautiful. And then, but the lights off at 9 o'clock. And said, lights off at 9 o'clock? What kind of place this is? What do you mean, what kind of place this is? That is the kind of place it is. Lights off at 9, bondage. So you go to the ashram and then you say, I am bound. I am bound means I have to be free from this ashram. I can't deal with the ashram. And so bondage only. And so then sattva person, little better maybe. But if the person, it's a noisy place, people are making a lot of noise, the guy will get upset. He'll become very angry also. And people will say, wow, I didn't know you can get so angry. Like that, they might say. And so, Jnana Sangena Badhanati, Krishna had said in the sixth shloka, Jnana Sangena, Karma Sangena Badhanati for Rajas, and Nidra Sangena Badhanati for this tamas. Okay. So, that is how the bondage occurs. Okay. Then, what are the indications? What are the indications of a particular guna? Well, it's a corollary of the definition of the guna itself. A person, if you know that if you see a person, or if I see myself engaging in study, analysis, viveka, knowing more about things, understanding the real meaning behind things, those kinds of things, well, are an indicator of sattva guna. Indicator for rajas is activity. Indicator for tamas is just no desire for any kind of progress or fulfillment. Okay? And which is important. That analysis is important. Counselors, I think it should be important to know. I don't know what they teach in psychology and counseling and all that. I'm sure they have a nice science built up, but this is the kind of thinking that happens there, so that the counselors can advise students and anybody else who needs that kind of counseling. Even adults when they are assessing themselves, what should I do? Suppose somebody asks an open question like this. I'm confused. What should I do in life? It's a very broad question. If somebody asks us suddenly, you're all studying Bhagavad Gita. Somebody comes to you and say, you're studying Bhagavad Gita. I am very confused in life. What do I do? How will you take that conversation forward? Okay, you have to think about it. And so the Triguna analysis is useful. And then fourth was what? After death, what happens to that person? Well, he talked about this one. Urdhvagati, Madhyamagati, and Adhogati. And Urdhvam Gachanti Satvastaha, he said. So, Urdhvam means better lives. Better lives can be in the same world, better life in the or better lives, of course, we have Swargadi. And then Adhogachanti. Adhogachanti means worse life in earth, or many lokas are there, many fields of experience are there in different lokas. So all that Krishna was talking about. And then what is the phalam? What is the consequence of having a particular guna? Well, again, sattva, sattva, what happens? That the real humanness shines in a person. Buddhirhi tesham adhiko visheshaha. Hey, between animals and human beings, buddhi is the most, is what is distinguishing, not this two legs, two hands, and this talking and all. No, no, no. Talking and all can be a waste. And just because a person can talk, if the person doesn't know how to use the ability to talk, then what is the point? And so buddhi, they said buddhi. And so that buddhi shines. The buddhi is being made use of by the sattva guna. Person with the sattva guna pradhana purushaha is able to utilize the mind properly and knows the limitations of the mind and knows the power of the mind. And so, therefore, I feel like so that jnana vriddhi can take place. So all the so-called progress in humanity and all that they talk about is possible only because of that buddhi. And rajas ambition and all is there, and they are also contributing. And tamas, nidra, alasya. So it prevents a person from moving forward. And we can't allow tamas to overtake us. Like that, one can make an inference. All right. So, with that introduction to the gunas, 19 and 20, let us chant that now. Here, Krishna is talking about, okay, knowing guna, I have to understand, is there something called gunatitaha, something that transcends all these gunas, so to speak. So these two shlokas are important in that respect. Nanyam gunebhyah kartaram
Na Nanyam Gunebhyah Kartaram
yada drashtanupashyati
Yada Drashtanupashyati
गुणेभ्यश्च परं वेत्ति
Gunebhyascha Param Veti
मद्भावं सोऽधिगच्छति.
Madbhavam Sodigachati
गुणानेतानतीत्यत्रीन्
Gunanetan Gunanetanatityatreen
देहि देहसमुद्भवान्
Dehi Deha Samudbhavan
जन्ममृत्युजरा दुःखैः
Janma Mrityu Jara Dukkaihi
विमुक्तो मृतमश्नुते.
Vimukto Mrutamashnute.
So, so that Purushartha, what is the goal of the human being? Artha Kama Dharma is there, but then that Moksha Purushartha, that becomes a important topic. In any culture, it is important. And in our culture, one of the oldest cultures in the world, you can imagine how much they must have thought about this. And so that ahankara. So you see, amazing irony is we are able to analyze pretty much anything in this universe. Atoms also we analyze, we break, and then we know exactly what atoms are made of and so forth. But one ahankara is enough. And this ahankara, what is ahankara? What is ahankara? What is jiva? What happens is that. So there is so much difficulty in understanding just who I am and what makes me do the things I do. So, so that's what we say here. Ahankara Atma Viveka. Ahankara, Atma is playing the role of an Ahankara as though. And so, fine. Then what? Then the Ahankara becomes like a dress that the Atma is wearing. And so, don't get confused. Don't take the Ahankara to be the self. Hey, there is some self called Atma. There is a self, which is my true nature. And that's what I'm after through all these chapters of the Bhagavad Gita. And so, uh, so that journey is so important. So, in terms of guna, what might be the journey? It might be said, okay, I was initially tamaf pradhanaha. Tama was predominating as a child. I'm greedy, I want this, that's mine, this is mine. I won't share anything with anybody. This is how my mind was. Then slowly I become Rajo Pradhanaha. I'm active and I do things. And okay, initially for myself, but later on for others also. Then I become Sattva Pradhanaha. I become more inquisitive. I become more contemplative. And I begin to understand that things are not what they just seem to be. Okay. So I become Sattva Pradhanaha. Then from Sattva Pradhana, I want to go to something. Is there something other than these three gunas? Which was asked by Nachiketa in a different way to Yama. Anyatra dharmat, anyatra dharma. Three gunas are also dharma only. Okay. And so that is the guna journey. Or if you take an ashrama journey, then yeah, there is brahmachari ashrama, grahastha, vanaprastha, and sannyasa ashrama. Same journey, only it is mentioned in terms of ashrama, a stage in our life. So as that means what? As we grow, as we age, and then we are moving from one stage to another, and we have to ask ourselves, what stage I am in right now? And what are the responsibilities? Do I have any responsibilities? Am I supposed to accomplish something in that particular stage of my life? Yeah, of course. Answer is yes to all those things. And so then Vanaprastha comes. So Grasta is there. And then we should not be stuck with Grasta. Grasta is meant again to help myself only. All these ashramas are meant to ashrama. So it helps me relax so that I can emotionally grow. I can spiritually grow. That is what an ashrama is. And so, marriage is not meant for simply having children and then living with children and grandchildren and great grandchildren. No, that is not correct. That's not what the Shastra says. And so, I have responsibilities. Those responsibilities make me more human, and it's supposed to help me grow. And then what? Grow out of. From growing, can I grow out of? Yeah, that is called Vanaprastha Ashrama, where I begin to say, okay, great, you guys take over, hand over the keys. Okay, you take care of all these things. Children will take care of. Now what should I do? Okay, I'll focus on. From Ahankara, I have to focus on Atma now. Atma becomes important and Atma deserves its own time. It takes time and it requires a reorientation. And hopefully that has happened. And so since I have led a good Grasta life, Vanaprastha should not be difficult. With the right guidance, Vanaprastha becomes a great stage in one's life. So that's the ashrama journey. Then sannyasa. Sannyasa, okay. These days, Bahya sannyasa is not it's not that common. Even though sannyasis are there in our life, they influence us, they guide us. But then for most of us, sannyasa is going to be antara sannyasa. Antara sannyasa. Correct? I can be a grahastha and I can study and I know what's what. That's that is the what we are looking for here. And so that is the ashrama journey, guna journey, ashrama journey. What about karma journey? Yeah, previously it's all sakama karma. Sakama karma. All I want, I artha kama dharma. I want punyam. I want. Okay, my family. I becomes a little bigger now. Okay, Veda says, yeah, that is how it is, and nothing wrong with it. And so Veda offers a few more things. And then our Vajashravas and Kathopanishad says, I want this earth is boring. I want next stage. I want to give a competition. I want to compete with Indra. So yeah, you can do all that. Vedas also attracts us with all those goodies and sakama. But at some point, sakama should move towards nishkama. I do things, but not for my sake anymore. Okay, I have to. I'm so capable that I can do a lot for others, for other things. Or in our Shastram, Nishkama karma includes Vihita karma, Nitya karma, Naimittika karma. Every Vedic person has karma to do. And so that is what I end up doing, Nishkama karma. Of course, Pancha Mahayajna. Pancha Mahayajna is very important. Manusha Yajna, Bhuta Yajna, and all of us do that, helping the environment, ecology, ecosystem. So holistic living, all that is requires a lot of awareness. And so now it's all Nishkama karma. And then gradually going towards Prarthana, Puja, the Upasanam, and which is an important aspect of that growth, spiritual growth. Okay? And then finally, Naishkarmyam. Naishkarmyam, because Atma is Akarta. All this karma, the entire so many decades of living are meant for understanding what is not a result of karma, what is not a result of any doing. And so it looks like I have to undo all the notions I have, not undo all the doings. All the doings have helped me, no doubt. And so I don't need to undo any of that. But this idea that I have to somehow make it, the Shastram says, no, you already made it. Long ago also you made it. 10 years ago also you made it, 5 years also you made it, now also you made it. There's nothing to make. That is what the Shastram is going to say. And so that is the karma journey. And so that's the growth here we are talking about, where karma is used to help myself and take me towards jnanam. Jnanam. Why jnanam? Why are you so insisting on jnanam? What to do? What to do? If I had a choice, we can take some choice, like going to an ice cream parlor and saying, I want this ice cream and that ice cream and this ice cream. You can take whatever you want. It's not like that. Because we are talking about a Siddha Vishaya, that which is already accomplished. If there is something to accomplish, you can talk about karma. You can talk about various types of asanas and postures and this and that. All the postures, asanas, samadhi, etc. is useful for building myself, Takarana Shuddhi, to become an adhikari. But then, what kind of karma will get me that purnatvam that I'm looking for? Hey, you are already that purnatvam that you're looking for. If somebody says, if that becomes the solution, the only way towards that is ajnanam is what is standing between me and my purnatvam. And if ajnanam, ignorance is the problem, then there's only one solution, and that is jnanam. And so then what about all the karma that I did? It's all waste? No. Swamiji gives the example of this banana. Are you going to eat a raw banana or a ripe banana? Ripe banana only. Okay. Then the banana needs that skin in order to ripen. And you can't say the skin is useless. You can't say skin is there. And then afterwards, you give up the skin, you take the fruit. Now, so satsang question will be there. What about there are all these people who say banana skin is this, etc. You just eat along with the banana skin. Okay, we'll keep it for a different day. But for now, the example is you throw the banana skin and then eat the fruit. Okay. All right. So therefore, that therefore, and this so-called Atma that I am after is now is playing a role in the form of an Ahankara. As a human being, a unique human being. And it's suppose I can look at this life of a human being as a role being played like in a drama, in a skit. Everybody is given various roles, and I am also given this role. If somebody had told me that when I was going to college, think of your life as a, a, a character in a drama. Suppose somebody had told me that. I think that would have triggered our thinking somewhat and say, never take the role as yourself. Never take the problems of the role as your problem. Problems will come and go, but you are more than all these roles. Suppose somebody had told me that. Okay, then I think our life would have been a little different. But that's the idea here also. That's what the Shastram is saying, that Atma is something other than Ahankara. And so this journey is now what? Sattva Guna, then Gunatita. The journey from Tamo Guna Pradhana to Sattva Guna Pradhana is through lot of accomplishment, activity. One has to have a good self-esteem. Self-esteem can't come just like that. You have to do something. The child also keeps doing and wants to feel good about itself. And so that comes only from karma. But then our goal of life is not to get good self-esteem. Self-esteem is just on the way. It's something we get in order to go beyond also, right? And so this travel from Sattva Guna Pradhana to Gunatitatvam, that's a different kind of journey. That's a different kind of journey. Okay. When I become Sattva Pradhana, it is no different than saying, I am an adhikari, using the words, language of Vedanta. I am an adhikari. I am a sadhana chatushtaya sampanna. To introduce that, sadhana chatushtaya. What do you mean by sadhana? Okay, I have vivekam, vairagyam, shamadamadi shatka sampatti, and mumukshutvam. Abba, to so many years. So many decades, finally I understand this and I can see my journey slowly going there. Okay, I became an adhikari. Once I'm an adhikari, then I'm ready for that final message of the Shastram. The Upanishad talks about that, which is what the Krishna is also talking about, which now says, now you drop all your disciplines. Like you have to throw away the banana peel, you throw away your all the sadhanas. They say, what sadhana are you doing? Yeah, do all the sadhanas. But there is a time when you say, okay, sadhanas have come here. Now what? Now I have to see the big picture. Yeah. Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. That's the textbook journey, right? So generally what happens is we take Shravanam, we do Shravanam, we listen to all these things, we get inspired, and then Adhikaritvam keeps rapidly improving, building. That's how the journey is. Nobody is perfect. Nobody comes and says, okay, oh, you have full Adhikaritvam. Like that, you can't measure. There's no need also. And so, then this is just a textbook. So, then Adhikari is there, and the person, all the sadhanas have helped the person. So, therefore, sadhana, if you need, you keep using it. But it's only a sadhana. It is not meant to be with me all the time. Look at how beautiful it is. And so here he says, Nanyam, look at that shloka number 18. Nanyam gunebhyah kartaram yada drashtanupashyati gunebhyascha param vetti. Gunebhyascha param. Hey, don't be stuck to the gunas. Don't be stuck to all these sadhanas that you have. Don't be stuck to all the so-called accomplishments. Hey, param, there is something param, something beyond that. Something that is can't describe by words. Veti, one comes to know, important word there. Veti comes to know, comes to know. And so using that same buddhi that distinguishes the human being from the animal. And so madbhavam adhigachati. That's another big bang, right? That's Advaita Vedanta. Madbhavam adhigachati. Either you can gain Ishvara's nature after death, which is what many people say. Advaitis will say, no, gaining is what? Recognizing that you are no different than Ishvara. And so, Veti, knowing that. And he doesn't say how I should and all that. That's all the rest of the chapters of Bhagavad Gita, including the fourth chapter, Tad Vidhi, Pranipa, Tad Vidhi, Pranipatena, fourth chapter. Pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninaha tattvadarshinaha. For somewhere it comes in the fourth chapter. So tadvidhi pranipatena, hey, seek out a guru. Seek out somebody who knows all this. That's what he says. Pranipatena, the right attitude, etc. And Mundaka, Kathopanishad, everybody has their own way of saying this. So Guru Mevavi Gachet, popular Mundaka Vakya. The Guru Mevavi Gachet, Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam. That person who is a Shrotriya is who knows the Shastram, and then Brahmanishta, who has really soaked himself, herself in this jnanam. That person is a Brahmanishta. And then that person can remove that ajnanam. All right. So that gunatita is not different than kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata, which we just saw one chapter ago, 13th chapter. So kshetra, that you are the kshetrajna. Hey Arjuna, you are kshetrajna. Means what? Kshetram janati iti kshetrajna. You are the one who is the observer of the entire world, who is aware of the world. The world is not aware of you. You are aware of the world. So you are kshetrajna. Mam vidhi. Recognize that kshetrajna is no different than me. No different than me. Means my nature, Paramatma. Jivatma is equal to Paramatma. That's a grand statement it is that we have to keep reminding ourselves of. And then knowing that, what will happen? In the 20th shloka, he says, Vimuktaha amritam ashrute. Vimuktaha, the person is free. Muktaha, two types of mukti. One is Jivan Mukti, free while alive. And free after death also means what? Free after death means no more. Punarjanma is not there for that person. And so all that was mentioned by Krishna. And therefore, if I ask the question, for this Jivan Muktaha, what kind of gati it is? Is it Urdhva gati, Madhyama gati, or Adho gati? If I ask, it must be
Urdhva.
Urdhva.
Urdhva gati. I see. Any other
Urdhva.
answers? Any other
Moksha.
answers?
No
No
gati.
gati.
No
No
gati.
gati.
And the pramanam for us for no gati is
Moksha.
pramanam.
Vedas.
Gatir nasti.
Yes,
Ananya prokte gatiratra nasti.
right, exactly. Exactly. So, न नरेण वरेण प्रोक्त एषः सुविज्ञेयो बहुधा चिन्त्यमानः अनन्य प्रोक्ते गतिरत्र नास्ति. Gatihi nasti bhagini. Brother, there is no gati. Not urdhva gati. Urdhva gati means I am going to get a better world. No, this is not a better world going, my dear friend. There is no gati because Atma cannot have gati. Purnatvam cannot have gati. All pervasive cannot move from place to place. I am the all pervasive Atma. If somebody says there is no gati, agatihi. Okay. Agati in Laukika, in common parlance, agati means something different. Agati means what? Agati means totally helpless.
Refugee.
Refuge.
Refugee is called agati. And I don't like that word. I mean, agati. Wow. Imagine calling somebody you reached dead end. Dead end. That's what it means, dead end. And so, anyway, that's separate. Leave it aside. And so, gati. So keep that in mind. So urdhva gati and all when they say in Vedanta, we don't get carried away by that. Gati is what? Atma is agati. Atma is akarta agati. All right. Now let's chant the last section of this chapter. Let's do this because the time is up. I will just chant and you can chant along with me. Arjuna uvacha कैर्लिङ्गैस्त्रीन् गुणानेताम् अतीतो भवति प्रभो किमाचारः कथं चैतान् त्रीन् गुणानतिवर्तते श्रीभगवानुवाच प्रकाशं च प्रवृत्तिं च मोहमेव च पाण्डव न द्वेष्टि सम्प्रवृत्तानि न निवृत्तानि काङ्क्षते उदासीनवदासीनः गुणैर्यो न विचाल्यते गुणा वर्तन्त इत्येव योऽवतिष्ठति नेङ्गते समदुःखसुखस्वस्थः समलोष्टाश्मकाञ्चनः तुल्यप्रिया प्रियो धीरः तुल्यनिन्दात्मसंस्तुतिः मानापमानयोस्तुल्यः तुल्यो मित्रारिपक्षयोः सर्वारम्भपरित्यागी गुणातीतः स उच्यते मां च यो व्यभिचारेण भक्तियोगेन सेवते सगुणान् समतीत्यैतान् ब्रह्मभूयाय कल्पते ब्रह्मणो हि प्रतिष्ठाहम् अमृतस्याव्ययस्य च शाश्वतस्य च धर्मस्य सुखस्यैकान्तिकस्य च. So, in the 21st shloka, Arjuna asks a question. Okay, Kairlingai, etc. He's asking, apparently, he's asking, what are the indications, lingas? How do I know that a person has this kind of a guna? Like that, he's asking. And then, what are the characteristics of the person? Namely, how does the person behave? Like that, he's asking. And then, how to become a gunatita? Like that, he's asking. Three questions to which Krishna is giving the answers, and a person who is, prakashamta pravritrimcha, etc. One again, one who has the ability to know things and to be able to communicate that to others. Knowledge is of no use to somebody unless it is given away, unless it is given to somebody else. That is what I read long ago. And I was very impressed by that statement. Anyway, so such a person is a sattva guna, and like that, rajo guna and tamo guna. So that's where, see, the thing is this here, the important thing to remember is the mind is never going to be perfect. Please, we have to be we have to underline this state, because this idea of perfection, somehow people always, out there people talk about it, and then all these sadhanas are there, and you can fine tune your mind a lot. You can hone your mind so much. And so sometimes what will happen is even the people who are doing meditation, asana, etc., they will get upset if they get upset. Have you ever got upset that you got upset? Because I'm studying Bhagavad Gita, I should not get upset, And then, but I got upset. Then I get upset that I got upset. Well, this becomes a vicious cycle. And so we want to tell ourselves that, don't be upset if you get upset. This is normal. Things will improve. And yeah, the person, I am improving myself. And so I will more or less be stable and calm most of the time. But it doesn't mean I should not get upset at certain situations. And I'm never going to be carried away by any anger and things like that. So we don't need to have that kind of guilt. I'm a Bhagavad Gita student, this, that. And so I should not have these kinds of expressions like that. We don't have to have that. Anyway, so that all the gunatita lakshanaha given here, samadukha sukha swastaha. Sukha same kritva labha labho jaya jayo. In second chapter itself, Krishna had mentioned, for a karma yogi, hey Arjuna, you have to develop this attitude. You can't, when dharma is important, you can't give too much importance to sukha and dukkha. Okay, as if you can get some sukha, go ahead and get it. But when dharma is paramount, these things have no role to play. Like that. So that's an attitude. But here, not attitude. Sama dukkha sukha swastaha. The person, by virtue of that knowledge, the person is able to take everything as mithya. Doesn't mean the person will not experience sukha and dukkha. Please, I'm telling you again repeatedly. Sukha and dukkha will be there, but they're all mithya. And just the fact that I have a mind, the mind will undergo these ups and downs. And so that person, sama dukkha sukha swastaha. And then how to become that gunatita? Mamcha, last 26, Mamcha yaha avyabhicharena bhakti yogena. I use the word bhakti. So, and bhakti yoga chapter we saw earlier also in the 12th chapter. Bhakti yoga. So there we saw that bhakti yoga is a package, big package. And our entire, all sadhanas are there in this bhakti yoga. Ending with knowledge. And so, bhakti and jnanam appear very different initially to us. Appear very different. And then as the more you know, the more bhakti I have. The more bhakti I have, the more desire to know. And finally, I find that bhakti and jnanam, there is really no difference at all. Okay. So this we keep in mind. And so in the 13th chapter also, we saw that Mayicha Ananya Yogena Bhakti Ravya Vicharini Vivikta Desha Sevitvam, like that we saw. So Krishna had introduced that idea before itself. And so my bhakti should be ideally not yatkinchit yada kadachit. So once in a while bhakti, etc. Abhyabhicharini means that knowledge will give me the bhakti is going to be constant. Like I give the example of this mother. A mother will never forget that she is a mother. Motherhood is constant. Like that, any knowledge that we have also is constant. here this Paravidya knowledge, Paravidya also is there all the time. So that kind of Nityatvam will be there. And so the Jnani also is a Bhakta. How do we know that? How do we know Jnani is a Bhakta? Chaturvidha bhajante mam jana sukritino arjuna arto jignyasurartharti jnani cha bharatarshava. Jnani is also bhajate, chaturvidha bhajate mam, he said. People worship me in 4 ways. And Jnani also. So, in this manner, uh, this chapter concludes. And let's chant together the last portion. Om Tat Sat Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gitasu Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishnarjuna Samvade Gunatraya Vibhaga Yogo Nama Chaturdashodhyayaha. Thank you all for being with us.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ.
Om आपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसम्पदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम् ॐ आपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसम्पदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम् ॐ आपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसम्पदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम् ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ